Hello and welcome back. Our next guest is, well, she's been designing chic and extravagant hats for over 3 decades, this one included. And, bueno, keeping up with the hottest trends, Harlem Heaven Hats offers the latest styles, colors, and materials to provide top quality hats for her customers around the world. The hats that are popular for events such as the Kentucky Derby, polo matches, weddings, and more. These hats have also been featured in exhibitions at the Met, on the cover of Vogue, Glamour, Elle, and the New York Times. And without further ado, here to share more, we welcome milliner and founder of Harlem Heaven Hats shop, Evetta Petty. Hello and welcome.
Hello, I'm so excited to be here.
It is our absolute pleasure. We got legends in the house. And I'm wearing one of your pieces to top it off.
You look so fabulous.
You know, let's just share with everyone how this just came about, right? So I think my viewers are already used to me wearing funky hats, right? You guys love this hat because I'm feeling this hat, and I was hoping that she would bring one for me, and we didn't even coordinate it. This one just happened to be
Yeah.
in the bag.
Yeah, and the perfect color is wonderful with your hair, with your ensemble. The finishing.
The finishing, yes, yes, and I thank you for dressing my head, my dear. So let's talk a little bit about your career in making these hats and fascinators and anything that really complements the face, because that's how I feel about hats.
Well, I always say that this is the finishing touch to any outfit. The hat is so important. And for a while, they weren't as popular as in the past. And now there is a hat buzz all over the world. So I'm very happy about that.
And so, you know, what I didn't mention is like you're like the oldest hat shop in Harlem, right? And you maintain your services there, right, as your headquarters. However, you're global. And as I mentioned already, you're a celebrity in your own right, working with all these fabulous magazines and, of course, servicing events such as the Kentucky Derby. I
Yes,
believe before we
yes.
got on air, you also mentioned Central Park's Conservancy Luncheon.
Yes, probably the biggest hat event in New York. It's, you know, all these fabulous, fabulous women convening in Central Park for the benefit of the park, and the most amazing collection of hats you've ever seen. And I have several customers that I will be dressing for the Conservancy Luncheon.
So it's almost like the Met of Central Park.
Absolutely, a hat required event.
A hat required event.
Yes.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about your business and how, I guess, what that ride has been for you throughout the years, especially during the pandemic. I always like talking about how you were able, anyone was able to overcome and sustain throughout the pandemic, especially in services that really are public, right? And while you're making it for individuals, it's kind of like, well, you know, if they're not going to the event, you know, how do you maintain?
Well, that was very challenging during the pandemic because there were no horse races, you know, sorority luncheons. You know, I have that big following of very, very social women. So I concentrated on production, really. I was home for a few months. I had to, you know, close my store. So I was sitting there hand making hats and really just preparing, because I knew that we would be open, we would come back strong. And since I am doing a lot of handwork, it did give me time to really just produce some fabulous pieces.
I know, and you were out there on display during Fashion Week. Let's talk about New York Fashion Week.
Yes,
How
we
do you
just
know
finished.
what to make for it, though?
Well, you know, I just did 4 shows. So
Wow.
it was a very busy.
And you're here?
Yes, 4 fashion shows. 3 of them were collaborations with clothing designers, and then I had my own standalone show that was just a hat show. So when I'm doing collaborations with clothing designers, they may show me some sketches or some photos of the outfits ahead of time, and we'll sort of coordinate colors. So that's how that part is done. And then when I do my own standalone shows, I just put the women in solid black because it's all about the hat.
Right. And So we have these wonderful hats on display, and I'm just curious to know why you chose these specific hats to be on
Well,
display today.
this is part of the new collection. I'm doing a lot of veils and a lot of feathers this season,
Uh-huh.
and especially for the Derby. You know, you want drama. I do a lot of television and film work, so, you know, I need dramatic pieces for editorial, for someone's music video. You never know when someone will call me. You know, I never know who's going to call me. It could be Solange's people saying, you know, there's a video, we need this, this, and this. So I brought these pieces because these are sort of a sampling of what I'm doing now. This is a sample of the hat that Gigi Hadid wore in Vogue. I did it in many different patterns, but this was a very important piece.
It's very fun, and I wonder if we could just pull it over a little bit just so that the camera can see it. Yeah, because it's kind of like, I don't know, it reminds me a little bit of hair.
Yeah, it's big and it's
Yeah.
voluminous, and it makes a statement.
Right. So I just want to make sure that our viewers understand which one we're talking about. We're talking about this one right here that looks like, doesn't matter if you're having a bad hair day.
Yeah.
And then we have the fascinator that I'm putting back,
Yes.
which are my favorite, which is what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a fascinator. Shall we educate our people on fascinators?
Little mini headpieces that are appropriate for those fabulous luncheons that we like to go to. I'll be marching in the Easter parade. I'll probably be wearing a fascinator because it's my favorite thing to wear. But these have been around for a long time. You watch old black and white films, they have these cute little headpieces. Those were fascinators. And now, since the royal weddings, and we're watching the style of the Brits, a major comeback.
Yeah, well, I love fascinators personally, so I'm really happy to meet you. And I can't believe we haven't met before. However, we know each other now, and let's talk a little bit about the Kentucky Derby because that is a really huge event for fascinators.
Yeah, and what's great about the Kentucky Derby is you don't even have to go to the Derby. The big thing now is a Derby-themed party. And they are all over the city. They're actually all over the country. So you don't have to go to Kentucky. Here in New York and in Harlem, we're going to have the most major Derby party on Derby Day that you've ever seen, and we've been doing it for years.
I was unaware of that.
Yes,
so talk
the
about
Harlem Derby.
The Harlem Derby?
Yes.
When is that?
Yeah, it's on the day of the Derby, May 6th, and it's an amazing day of fashion and live music, and it's going to be wonderful. And we have it every year. And this year, I will be responsible for the fashion show, like I always do. And this year, I'm getting their Legends Award as well on that day.
Of course you are. Of course you are. We are blessed and fortunate to even be sharing this with our viewers. Yes. And so, you just did 4 shows. 4 fashion shows. I believe you just recently won an award too.
Yes, a Fashion Icon Award. Yes, from the Culture Tree Foundation in Long Island.
Well, congratulations on that.
Yeah, you know, after 33 years of, of selling these hats and enjoying it, it's so wonderful to be recognized. You know, my little shop in Harlem went global. People show up from all over the world. They've heard about me and my hats. So it's just a wonderful place to be.
And so how has it been for you? I'm going to assume you spend a lot of time working with your hands, for your hats. And I just wonder, like, for yourself, did you ever think that this is how you were going to earn your living and serve?
Absolutely not. I did graduate from FIT,
Right.
and I do have a degree in fashion.
Right.
I worked in fashion marketing.
Right.
I worked behind the scenes.
Right.
You know, putting together catalogs and things like that. I made hats as a hobby.
Oh my gosh.
But I used to make them for myself. I wore them to the office all the time, and they just got so much attention. So, you know, I made a few, did a little pop-up down in Soho. They sold out immediately. I did that a few times. I quit my corporate fashion job, opened a shop. This was back in the 80s. And
And the
here I
rest is
am,
history.
full-time hat maker, mostly self-taught.
Wow.
Never thought I'd be here.
Well, you're an inspiration as well. And it's a beautiful conclusion to a previous conversation I had in another segment with regards to understanding the dynamics behind having a business and being a creative and having that financial literacy as well as marketing, because marketing is another important component to the success of anybody's business.
Yes, for sure, for
And
sure.
so here we are 30 something years later, and you know, she dropped a few names. I don't know if you guys were listening. And I love that too, you know, being able to sustain that level of humility, knowing that, you know, I've got my shop in Harlem and I service these big time celebrities, and I am global, and yes, I'm working with all those fabulous magazines, but I'm here for my community.
Absolutely, absolutely. I am so proud to be part of the fabric of Harlem. I feel like I'm carrying on a legacy because we are just a group of stylish people. We love to dress, we love to look good. So, people look to us from all over the world for style. So I'm just glad to be a part of that whole history of Harlem and continuing.
Well, on that note, I'm going to wish you a happy Women's History Month.
Awesome.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you.
a contribution to our history here. And I refer to us as the Uptown flavor because you're from the BX. I mean, your shop is in Harlem, but you're from the
Absolutely.
BX.
I am a Harlem shopkeeper, but I live in the Bronx.
All right. You heard it here. All right, mi gente. If you're interested in any of her hats, this is Evetta Petty. She's a milliner and founder of the Harlem Heaven Hats shop that is located in Harlem on, what's the exact address?
2538 Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Boulevard.
Oh my, 2538 Adam Clayton Power Jr. Boulevard. And of course, if you're interested in shopping online, you can visit harlemsheaven.com. And well, stay tuned because our Open Artist Spotlight is coming up next as I enjoy my fascinator. Ciao, ciao.